Hi guys, it's Emma AITA, your favorite AI slop tuber. Before we jump into today's video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks so much for your support. Now, let's get right into the video. AITA for cutting off my best friend after she sabotaged a huge job opportunity for me. I, 28 female, have known my best friend Jenna, 29 female, since college. We met during our freshman year orientation, clicked over a mutual love of indie music and bad horror films, and were basically inseparable for the next decade. We studied together, traveled together, lived together for 4 years in our 20s. She was the first person I called when my dad died, the maid of honor at my sister's wedding, and the only person who stayed up with me through every anxiety spiral when I applied to grad school. We've been through everything, or so I thought. We've always had different career paths. I'm a UX designer, very focused on tech and startups, and Jenna is a writer, a brilliant one, when she applies herself. But the last few years have been hard on her. She's bounced between part-time gigs, freelance contracts, and periods of total burnout. She's talented, but inconsistent. And while I've always supported her emotionally and financially when I could, it's become draining. I never said that out loud, of course, not until recently. Back in February, I got an interview for a dream job, a senior design role at a major European tech company expanding to the US. 6-figure salary, hybrid work, amazing benefits, equity, the works. I was elated. Jenna was the first person I told. At first, she seemed excited, hugged me, told me I deserved it, asked if I needed help preparing for the interviews. But then, things shifted. She started making subtle comments. Isn't it kind of soulless working for a tech giant? Or, I just hope they don't expect you to give up all your free time. Then it became passive-aggressive. Must be nice to have the right kind of ambition. Once, when we were out with friends, she joked that I was selling my soul to Silicon Valley. No one laughed. I brushed it off. But I started to feel weird, like I had to hide my excitement, like I was making her feel small just by existing. Then came the sabotage. The interview process was rigorous. 4 rounds, including a live product design challenge and a final executive panel. I spent weeks preparing. I was nervous, but I crushed every stage. They told me they'd get back to me within a week. Around the same time, Jenna was struggling with yet another rejected manuscript. She'd submitted a collection of short stories to a few indie publishers, and all had passed. She was crushed. I sat with her, listened, cooked her dinner, let her vent for hours even when I was dead tired after back-to-back Zoom calls. She cried, and I told her she was brilliant, that she'd find her audience, that her work mattered. And I meant it. 3 days later, I got the job offer. The recruiter called me, excited. The base salary was even higher than I expected. I was stunned, thrilled, and immediately texted Jenna, I got it. I didn't expect a parade, but I figured she'd be happy for me. No reply. Hours passed. Then finally, congrats. That's huge. No emoji, no exclamation mark, no offer to celebrate. I tried to ignore it. I figured she was in her feelings, maybe overwhelmed. I told myself not to read into it. I told myself a lot of things. But that weekend, something happened that changed everything. I'd left my laptop open on the kitchen counter while I showered. Jenna and I were still roommates at the time. We shared a 2-bedroom in a rent-controlled apartment we'd had since grad school. I trusted her. I had no reason not to. When I came out of the bathroom, towel on my head, she was sitting on the couch, looking pale. Hey, she said. You might want to check your email. I think your recruiter sent something. I raised an eyebrow. You read my email? She flushed. It popped up on the screen. I didn't open it. I just saw the subject line. Thought you'd want to know, I nodded, though something in her tone made my stomach twist. I opened my inbox and saw it. An email from the company's HR. But it wasn't confirmation documents. It was a withdrawal notice. Dear Taylor, it began, we regret to inform you that due to concerns raised during our reference check process, we have decided to rescind your offer. My blood turned to ice. What reference check? I'd only given them my old manager and a team lead from my last job, both of whom had promised glowing reviews. I reread the email 5 times. Then I called the recruiter, demanding clarification. She was polite, but vague. We received anonymous input that gave us pause, she said. It's not standard, but it raised enough red flags that leadership decided not to proceed. Anonymous. My mind raced. Who would do that? Who could do that? I had no enemies, no disgruntled coworkers, no bitter exes, except... My eyes flicked to Jenna, still sitting on the couch, scrolling her phone like nothing had happened. I didn't confront her then. I needed to be sure. So I did what any half-paranoid, heartbroken, furious person would do. I checked my laptop's browser history. She hadn't cleared it. And there, timestamped to the hour I was in the shower, was a search. Company name recruiter contact, and your name employment background check. I stared at it for a long time. Then I packed a bag and left. I didn't go far that night. I crashed on my cousin Dana's couch, shaking with rage and disbelief. I barely slept. I couldn't process it. How someone I considered family, someone who'd cried into my lap about her failures and insecurities, could stab me in the back in such a cold, calculated way. But the next morning, I wanted proof. So I did something I never imagined doing. Jenna and I had shared our desktop passwords years ago, back when we were writing partners for a short-lived blog. She never changed hers. I logged into her email on my phone, hands trembling, and searched the company's name. There it was. A draft email she'd written, never sent from her main account, but copied and pasted into a burner Gmail she created using her secondary writing pen name. Hello, I'm writing regarding a candidate you've recently extended an offer to, Taylor, last name. I wish to remain anonymous, but I feel a responsibility to warn you. Taylor has a history of toxic behavior at work. She has lied on her resume, manipulated coworkers, and left a former job under investigation for misconduct. It went on. All lies. All made up. There was no investigation, no misconduct. I'd been promoted twice at my last job. My references, who I immediately contacted, were shocked. They confirmed they'd only said positive things. But it didn't matter. Jenna had gotten ahead of them. She poisoned the well. I forwarded the draft to myself. I took screenshots. I backed up everything. Then I called her. She picked up on the second ring. Hey, are you okay? You kind of disappeared last night. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. My voice was eerily calm. I know what you did. Silence. Then, a shaky, defensive, what are you talking about? I saw the draft. I saw the search history. I have the screenshots. She tried to backpedal, said she was drunk when she wrote it, that she never meant to send it, that it was just her venting. But when I told her the message was sent, through a dummy email she thought I'd never trace, the mask cracked. You don't get it, she snapped. You have everything, the job, the boyfriend, the respect, the confidence. You never even struggle, and I'm just supposed to keep clapping from the sidelines while my life falls apart? I was stunned. You think I don't struggle? I shot back. You think I haven't worked for every damn thing I have? I've been carrying you for 2 years, Jenna. Rent, groceries, emotional support, and this is how you thank me? You always act like you're better than me, she hissed. I never did, I said. But maybe now I am. I hung up. Then I did what I should have done months earlier. I moved out. Cutting Jenna off wasn't a clean break. For the first few weeks, she texted constantly, alternating between furious tirades and sobbing apologies. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, was followed hours later by, you're a selfish bitch who never actually cared about me. I blocked her after she showed up unannounced at Dana's door and demanded we talk like adults. Dana, bless her, told her to get lost or she'd call the cops. It took a few months for the dust to settle. I moved into a new apartment, a small but bright one-bedroom, just mine. I reconnected with old friends I'd neglected during the Jenna years. I found another job too. Not as glamorous as the one I lost, but still good. Stable. With people who appreciated me. Slowly, I rebuilt. And yet, part of me still reeled. I kept replaying the betrayal. It wasn't just about the job. It was about how someone who'd sat at my table, worn my clothes, cried into my arms, could hold that much venom beneath the surface, and how blind I'd been to it. The thing is, people like Jenna don't usually announce themselves. They're charming, wounded, always halfway to being the person they could be. You root for them, you invest in them, and you miss the warning signs because love makes excuses. I found out later, through a mutual acquaintance, that Jenna had spun her own story about the falling out. She claimed I ghosted her after getting a big tech job, that I was a sellout, that I left her in the dust. But people eventually stopped believing her. One friend even told me, she seemed more bitter than heartbroken. I still have the email draft saved, not because I want to reread it, but because part of me refuses to pretend it didn't happen. That's the part of the healing no one talks about, the documentation, the proof. The ugly receipts you keep so that, when the self-doubt creeps in, was I too harsh? Was I the villain? You can look back and remember. No, that actually happened. That wasn't a bad dream. Now, a year later, I don't miss Jenna. I miss the version of her I thought existed. The best friend who'd toast my wins and weep with me during losses. The person who didn't see my success as an indictment of her failure. But that version of Jenna? She was mostly in my head. So, here I am. Writing this for clarity, Maybe closure. Was I the asshole? For cutting her off? For going into her email, even if only to confirm the truth? For moving on without her? I don't know. Maybe you'll say yes. Maybe you'll say I was too brutal, that I should have given her another chance, that everyone snaps sometimes, that jealousy is human. But betrayal? That's a choice. So, Reddit? AITA?